Welcome to the Odds Breakers, number one place for shared, sharp betting information.
All right, welcome back to podcast 42 of 2019. I am your host, Kiev O'Neil. You can tweet me at OBKiev or tweet us at the Odds Breakers. This episode is being sponsored by mybookie.ag. For a 100% sign-up bonus, please visit MyBookie. Use the promo code TheOddsBreakers. Terms and conditions apply. If you'd like to help us out with our costs and sponsor our podcast and website, we would love to help you out. Please visit theoddsbreakers.com and click shop for $17.99 a month. You can become a member and get my plays and premium plays before the line moves. For $2 more, you can get all that and become a patron subscriber. Get the podcast a little bit early. And if nothing else, please visit theoddsbreakers.com and become a free picks newsletter subscriber. But we had a great weekend for premium customers. We're 3-1 in the NFL preseason, 1-0 in college. And my oh my, did Hawaii cover that one? Even having they won it straight up, so the money line sprinkle helped, but they literally had 6 turnovers and still won that game. Crazy game it was. But before we get into a little bit of that recap, I'm going to talk a little bit about, Andrew Luck. Okay, now I know this podcast is not about people's feelings, all right? And not about what he should have done. But I do want to say one thing about that, and there is value in overreactions. That's important. If you don't follow Adam Schefter and have your notifications come up, you're losing out. Because when that news of Andrew Luck came out, you're able to get Jacksonville at plus 400 to win the division. Well, it's down to plus 200 now. Okay? Vegas is not as fast as Adam Schefter. Okay? The sports books are not as fast as Adam Schefter. Every single notification that comes up from him should have a little dollar sign next to it. Okay? There's a few good Twitter followers. I'm not going to give you all mine, but I'm going to give you that one for sure. The obvious one, especially if you're an NFL bettor, it is a must to follow him and have his notifications come up. Because he breaks most of the NFL news. But what happened with Andrew Luck is a little strange. Right when it happened, the Colts were playing the Chicago Bears at home. Luck was on the sidelines. And what did the crowd do when they heard the news? That's right. And now Colts fans are getting slaughtered for it. Of course, because, everybody in the media nowadays, they don't make mistakes. They're perfect. They're going to heaven. They don't sin. They're just perfect people. Look, man, if you haven't booed at a game or watching the TV or whatever sporting event you're at, you're either a liar or you probably haven't cheered either because you have no emotion. Look, these players get paid millions of dollars. Andrew Luck probably made more in 1 year than over 95% of our listeners at the Odds Breakers, at least, than they will ever make in their lifetime. Okay? Or the average person will make in his lifetime. In 1 year. They can handle a little booing. And I actually don't even think it bothered Andrew Luck. As a matter of fact, I don't think he cares because he understands crowds, And so everyone's just getting on Colts fans and getting for anyone that says, I understand why. Well, put yourself in their shoes. They hit them like a load of bricks. They possibly bought their season tickets this year because of the Super Bowl aspirations, and they expected to be a huge contender. What about these people that just scraped up barely enough money to come in? What about them? This was poorly timed. I am not saying Andrew Luck shouldn't have retired. He can do whatever he wants with myself, but there should be a time where you are all in or all out. This was bad for the Colts fans, maybe bad for the organization. We'll see what Brissett does. But at the same time, there should be a point where you are all in or all out. It's kind of like a wedding. Say you're getting married to someone and you just kind of, for a long time, that maybe this person is right or maybe this person is wrong. And then one day before the wedding, when everybody flew in, bought their plane tickets, bought their presents, bought a new suit, you decide to back out of that wedding. Okay? You decide to back out. Is that, you made a great decision. You probably saved the future of a lot more problems that would have happened between you and your fiance. But was the timing good on that? I mean, think about it. It's kind of like if you're going to back out on a wedding, you probably had some reservations before. And it probably would have been better for everybody else if you did it earlier or at least postponed it. But it's similar to what Andrew Luck did because there's a lot of people that put money on the Colts. And yeah, of course. I mean, I'm a little bitter. I had them at 8-1 to win the AFC. And I had them at plus 100 to win their division. But at the same time, it's not nearly, the problem that you have when you have just a huge fan base with Super Bowl aspirations. It's just completely something different out there, And so it kind of caught a lot of people by surprise. So, at the same time, the reaction happened. The Colts moved to plus 400 to win the division right away. I didn't check it for any time today. It's Monday. But I think that's good value right there because Jacoby Brissett is not a bad quarterback at all. As a matter of fact, with the talent on the Indianapolis Colts, I think plus 400 is a great bet. Now, of course, I'm already in for plus 100. I don't want to put myself deeper, but I made a Jacksonville bet at plus 400 because the Texans have that hard of a schedule. I kind of hedge like that, And right now, if I had nothing on the whole division, I would probably take the Colts at plus 300 or better because I think they are stacked. Darius Leonard's a beast. They got Justin Houston there. Their defense has improved. All right? They have a great offense. Jacoby Brissett, I've seen him play. He's good. I would say he's borderline top 20 right now, quarterbacks, I would say, with all that talent around him. Would you be shocked if he finished top 15 quarterback, top 10 even? With that talent? T.Y. Hilton, Paris Campbell, Chester Rogers, Eric Ebron, Doyle, Mack? I tell you, they're pretty stacked there, and they have a great offensive line. So this is the overreaction that you want to play to when this kind of thing happens. So just wanted to make sure you guys all knew that. But as far as all the people... I have no problem with that because you paid money to see these people. They make tons of money to entertain. And at the same time, these are the same people that could cheer for you. Who cares about booing? God, grow up here. But at the same time, I'm one of those guys that honks at slow people. So take that for what it's worth. Really quick, I'm doing more polls on Twitter. I decided to do that, and hopefully they start getting more play because I think it's really important just to get the perspective of people. Now, I'm not going to fade people that vote on this because I expect people that follow sports bettors and sports betting sites are a little bit more educated than the general public. I just want to know what people feel about things. I did a poll some of the people voting are better than maybe some of the best names out there. So, don't ever be quick to fade things when you see polls out there. But at the same time, I did one about the college football playoffs, whether it should be 4 teams, 6 teams, or 8 teams, or 12 teams, and 8 wins by a landslide, 72%. Nobody voted for 12. 25% voted for 6, and only 3% voted for 4. So that kind of goes to show you, it's very similar to the whole sports betting becoming legal finally after all these years, and when it should have been. The NCAA has all the power, and they want 4. That's because that's what they care about. They don't have to adhere to what people demand. And, I think it would be a lot fairer if there was 8 personally. I think it would spread out recruiting. I think there'd be better ratings. But at the same time, if you look, I believe the fan base really feels that the committee doesn't do that great of a job. And there's definitely better ways of doing it. Anyone that has Vegas power ratings knows that Georgia should have been in last year, for example. Penn State should have been in a year. I think Ohio State was missed at a year. So Georgia should have been in last year. I completely agree with that. And I'm not even sure Ohio State shouldn't have been in either. But, they had some close games that they barely won against, like Maryland. And that Purdue loss hurt them. But at the same time, you can have some conference bias when it comes to these things. So in my opinion, that's the perfect number. But anyways, we have college football, and it's back for 2019. And we had 2 games. We had Florida versus Miami, and played in Orlando. And we had Hawaii actually playing at home. Arizona went to Hawaii. So quickly first, this Florida versus Miami game. Very sloppy game. Lots of penalties. I think the Florida kind of looked like that team that they're just going to penalize people until the officials decide they're sick of calling it, which is I hate. But I always hope officials stay consistent. But they ended up squeaking out this win here, and it was pretty close. Felipe Franks had 2 interceptions, 2 TDs, 254 yards. The tackling was terrible in this game. If you could see that people were just getting pushed off, falling down. It's almost like they didn't even tackle in the offseason. And I guess, coaches are probably a little scared their players are going to get hurt. But the tackling looked absolutely awful on both sides. When you look at it from a power rating standpoint, it's really hard to judge here because of how early this game was. It was on a neutral field. It's just one of those things. I think that Miami, I will say that it looks like they really have a lot of talent there. And I think that their offensive line was really bad. Their defense looked good, stellar. I thought that, I think Miami might be one of those teams that when they gel together. One thing about Manny Diaz that I didn't know was that his dad was the mayor of Miami. So I thought that was pretty cool. Looks like he's really, really close to that city. And so far, so good with him. He looked like a great hire. But I think Dan Mullen's going to clean up his team a little bit, all the missed tackles. And don't overreact too much. I think Florida, if you slight downgrade, but I won't do too much there, and slight upgrade with the Hurricanes at best. But moving on to Arizona going to Hawaii, it's kind of this game ended up like I written it up. Kevin Sumlin had better talent on that team, but they just don't gel together. The defense was terrible. I don't know why they kept their defensive coordinator there. I think his name is Yates. He's terrible. And you could see Hawaii having their way with Arizona. There was the pass rush wasn't there. Campbell was throwing all kinds of touchdowns. They even put a backup quarterback in later because Campbell threw all those interceptions, and it just wasn't enough. Arizona, I think if they had one more quarter would have ended up winning that game just because of the talent there. And Khalil Tate, he ran that long run and almost got in to tie the game and ended up on the 1-yard line at the very end of the game. So this game went over. It's a shootout. You see how fast Hawaii plays. Arizona plays pretty fast too. It's just, Kevin Sumlin led team you can't trust. Arizona, I'm not going to, immediately start fading them, but This team has some serious problems on the defense, and we'll see where these lines end up when it comes to total betting. But I think everybody's just going to probably fire at the over next time you see them. But next time you see Arizona is probably going to play a team with a tougher defense the next few games. So you might want to do a late bet on the under. Yeah, I mean, obviously where the number comes up, we will see. All right, time to get in our letdown and look ahead spots for college football week 1. Now, there's not that many spots to look at the first week, obviously, but there's something there. Obviously, a look ahead spot is a lot greater value against your number or against the number, against whatever your power ratings is for the adjustment actually during the year. And obviously, there's no letdown spots this week because nobody's played yet, unless you're really going by something that happened last year. But in this case, there's a few of them. And I think LSU could be looking past Georgia Southern to Texas. And Texas could be looking past LA Tech to LSU. Now, this game's been hyped up for a long time. They know how important this is. And I'm not saying that they're going to not win this game. I'm saying that the second half of this game, you might see a lot of second and third stringers if this game is in handle, if it's handled properly. And, I'm pretty sure LSU is not caring that much about this game, or Texas about the LA Tech game. Obviously, they're not going to completely let down here or nothing, but this is just something to be aware of. Now, Clemson could be looking past Georgia Tech to Texas A&M. Georgia Tech is new coach, new system, new players, everything. Everyone's faded Georgia Tech down in their total. But that doesn't mean that Clemson's going to want to destroy them because they have a big Texas A&M game they have to be healthy for, and Texas A&M could be looking past Texas State to Clemson for all the same reasons. This was a very close game last year. Clemson only won by 3 points or so, 2 or 3 points. I believe that Kelly Bryant was the quarterback, though, and not Trevor Lawrence. The last one is an interesting one that I just found, kind of a diamond in the rough. Nebraska. They could be looking past Southern Alabama to Colorado because this is kind of a revenge spot. I remember watching this game. Nebraska, they should have beaten Colorado. They beat them in every single facet of the game except the final score last year. Nebraska might be looking for a little bit of revenge for that following week, so they might actually be looking a little bit past Southern Alabama. Such a huge spread at 36 points right there. All right, well, this is a shortened podcast here because there isn't a ton to talk about, but I do have a few plays for you guys, of course. So, don't want to leave anyone hanging here. We've got 2 college games and 1 NFL preseason game that we have money on, and the first one I want to get into is FIU versus Tulane. Total is 57 points here. That, my friends, is too low, and I'll tell you why. FIU was a great team last year on offense. They averaged 6.4 yards per play, okay? That's pretty good. 6.4 yards per play. Their defense gave up 5.66 yards per play. They returned good production on both sides of the ball. They returned their quarterback, Morgan. This team puts up points, and they're great passing the ball. Tulane's got a good defense, but it's against the run. Florida International is not that much of a running team. They will run more than they pass, but they're still known for the pass. So they're going to put up some points. Tulane, on the other hand, has a new offensive coordinator, Will Hall. They're getting away from that option stuff, spreading it out. Will Hall is a fast-paced kind of guy that came from West Georgia as well as West Alabama in Division II. His offense is fast-paced. Tulane returns their quarterback, Justin McMillan, receiver Darnell Mooney. They're going to be playing fast ball. I expect a lot of points this game. As a matter of fact, I think this total's too low by a lot. I think this could be an easy cover here. Got to grab it. FIU versus Tulane over 57. All right. The next play that we have, and I gave this last one, the FIU one, over probably about 2-3 weeks ago to clients, and it's hovering around 57. I see some 57.5s out there. Get it quick. Georgia Southern plus 28. I gave this to members at plus 30. This is one of those games, like I said, it's a look-ahead spot for LSU. This game is huge for them. They have to win if they want to be in playoff contention. Texas most likely has to win. If they run the table in the Big 12, they have a shot. But LSU, I don't think they're running any tables in the SEC. So they're really looking ahead. And Georgia Southern, this team is the option team. And as far as pace of play, Georgia Southern ranked dead last for pace. Okay? Dead last out of 130 teams. That's a lot last year. And it's because they run the triple option and they don't throw the ball. They averaged 59 plays per game when the average is, roughly around 72, 73. Okay? Pace has picked up a little bit over the years. For example, Wake Forest ran 85 a game. Syracuse ran 84 a game. East Carolina ran 84 a game. They ran 59. And so even if Texas is beating them by 28 points by the second half, they're going to put in their second stringers, third stringers. And Georgia Southern will probably get a touchdown or two at the end of this game and keep it close, relatively close. And they were a pretty good team last year, and they returned a decent amount of production. So this is just one of those situations where LSU could beat this team probably if they really, really want to by 27, 28 points. But this number is wrong due to the situation as well as the pace of play, in my opinion. I love Georgia Southern against top teams when you have these big spreads. Taking Georgia Southern plus the 28. We took it at plus 30. I like it all the way down to 24, to be honest with you. And the last one, we're going to the NFL. Okay, preseason. We are 8-5 in premium plays. Well, 9-5 in preseason football. They don't count teasers at Sports Watch Monitor, but we are going to go with the Packers playing the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay. So if you look at this game, what do these teams have in common? Well, they're playing each other this year. And you know when it's the fourth preseason game and they're playing each other, they're not only going to open up their playbook, they're going to shut it and just run some 22 blasts and some very standard coverages and plays, but they're also not going to get their players injured, being that it's the fourth preseason game here. There's not a lot to prove. These quarterbacks are set. The running backs are set. There's just some third, fourth string guys, walk-ons that are still trying to make the team at this point, and the Packers and the Chiefs have to figure that out. But at this point, there's not going to be a lot of points scored because of that. 35 is too high for this. I am giving out the free play of the Packers versus Kansas City under 35. Neither of these coaches have showed that they really care about preseason anyway with their records. Forgot to mention, I'm going to be at the Westgate Superbook this weekend on Friday to watch my Badgers play. So if you happen to be by, please say hi. More than happy to have a beer with you and watch a little bit of football. We'll be there Saturday as well for most of the day, at least the morning. Have other things to do, of course, but please stop by the Westgate Superbook and just tell me what you think of the show. Let me know what your plays are. Let's watch a little football together. Well, my friends, that's it for episode 42. If you have any questions or just want us to give you a lean on a game, please tweet us at The Odds Breakers. Have a fantastic time betting this weekend. There will be one more show this week coming up probably Wednesday night / Thursday morning. And go get some winners.